Welcome to this deep dive. We take your stack of sources, pull out the key knowledge, and basically give you the shortcut to being genuinely well-informed. Today we are tackling, well, one of the biggest challenges in the digital world right now, this crisis of trust that's being driven by synthetic media.
That's right. We're diving deep into the age of synthetic media. Specifically, how things like deepfakes are really challenging authenticity, challenging truth. It's shaking the very foundation of how we even establish facts. This conversation, well, it's designed to get you fully up to speed on the tech solutions, the legal side, and maybe most importantly, the psychological traps involved when AI creates media.
And what really jumped out from these sources is this paradox at the heart of it all.
Yeah.
Generative AI. It's like this incredible new creative tool for the 21st century. It really democratizes art, right? Anyone can suddenly create amazing images. We're even seeing Hollywood use sophisticated AI to, say, de-age actors like Tom Hanks right there on set. It feels kind of magical.
But that magic, yeah, it definitely has a shadow side. The exact same technology can craft incredibly convincing fakes, lies, basically. And that threatens our shared sense of what's real. Deepfakes hit right at that old saying, seeing is believing, because, well, they can make pure fiction look like undeniable fact.
Okay, let's break down that core threat then.
Yeah.
Start with the immediate dangers. So a deepfake, it's AI-manipulated media, audio or video, making someone look like they said or did something they never actually did. And this isn't some sci-fi future problem. The scale of this happening right now is, honestly, it's astronomical.
It really is. The sources show deepfake video creation isn't just growing steadily, it's exploding. We're talking 900% growth annually. That's alarming. And the financial damage, it's huge, especially for businesses.
Yeah, we absolutely have to talk about that 2024 case, the financial fraud one, because it shows exactly how these deepfakes get past our normal checks.
It's pretty chilling. So this finance worker, they were tricked into transferring, get this, $25.6 million. How? They were on a video call. But the people on the call, the company's CFO, other execs, they weren't real. They were deepfake replicas. So convincing, visually and audibly, that the employee just bypassed the usual protocols.
And that kind of sophisticated scam isn't rare anymore. The data suggests 50% of businesses say they've already run into fraud using AI-faked audio or video. It basically shows that the trust we put in digital communication is fundamentally broken when generative AI gets involved.
And if you zoom out from the financial stuff, the threat to, say, democratic stability, it feels even more direct, more corrosive. Deepfakes are just muddying the waters between what's real and what's fake in politics. It's like poisoning the well of public discussion.
We've seen so many examples. You remember that doctored video?
Yeah.
The one showing Hillary Clinton seeming to praise someone she never actually endorsed?
Yep.
Or that altered clip making President Biden appear to say truly hateful things he never uttered?
Exactly. Or even that fake CNN segment with Anderson Cooper that a political campaign actually shared. These aren't just, silly hoaxes. They're strategic attacks using media, designed to wreck public faith in candidates, in institutions, even in the news itself.
Which really brings us to the deeper problem here. The damage goes way beyond just individual fake videos. UNESCO actually calls this spread of super realistic fakes a crisis of knowing. Basically a breakdown in how we as a society figure out what's true.
And this is where it gets really personal for you, the listener, because this crisis, it's fundamentally psychological. The sources point to two key cognitive traps that make this whole thing work. The first one is called imposter bias.
Imposter bias.
Yeah.
It's subtle, but it's so powerful. It means just knowing that deepfakes are out there, that stuff can be faked, makes us start doubting everything we see, even real, genuine videos.
Precisely. Research actually backs this up. Just being exposed to deepfakes makes people find authentic news less credible. Doesn't matter the format, video, audio, text. You start suspecting everything might be digitally cooked up, even when it's legitimate reporting.
And that general lack of trust, it paves the way for the second trap, which is maybe even more dangerous, the liar's dividend.
The liar's dividend.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the nasty consequence of all this skepticism. It's when someone actually does something wrong, gets caught on camera, real damning evidence, but they can just turn around and say, oh, it's just another deepfake.
Yeah.
And because the public is already wary, thanks to imposter bias, they're kind of primed to actually believe the denial.
So yeah, we end up in what experts are calling a post-truth visual culture. We're seeing and hearing, no longer believing. And that threatens our collective memory, our ability to just agree on basic facts. It's serious.
So that raises a huge question, doesn't it? If we can't trust our own eyes and ears, and skepticism itself can be turned against us, can technology actually bail us out here?
Well, the sources are pretty clear on this one. trying to detect fakes after they're made that reactive approach, it's largely failing. We're just constantly playing catch up with the people making the fakes.
Yeah, the detection deficit is fascinating and kind of depressing. In a lab, sure, the detection tools work okay, maybe 85–90% accuracy, but put those same tools out in the real world against new deepfakes they haven't seen before. Accuracy just tanks, often below 50%.
Below 50%. That's literally worse than flipping a coin.
Yeah.
If detection fails more often than not out there, isn't that just making the liar's dividend problem worse? Like, why pour resources into detection if it's obsolete the moment the next AI model drops?
That's the core issue. Detection is always looking backward, trying to spot flaws the next AI is already designed to avoid. So because reactive detection is strategically flawed, the whole focus is shifting, moving towards proactive authentication, proving where content came from right from the start.
Okay, so proactive authentication. This is where we see some potentially promising tech emerging to try and rebuild that trust. The big one seems to be this C2PA standard, the Coalition for Content Provenance and Authenticity, and they create something called content credentials.
Right. Think of content credentials less like a simple label and more like a cryptographically sealed, tamper-proof audit log. It's like a digital receipt. It records the file's origin, who made it, what tools were used, every single edit, all in a secure chain. If someone messes with the file without verifying, that chain breaks, instantly flagged as suspicious. The key is you can verify that source chain.
And then there's also watermarking, right? Like Google's Synthid system.
Yeah, Synthid is quite clever. It embeds an invisible digital watermark directly into the AI-generated content itself, images, audio, video. And unlike basic metadata, this watermark is tough. It sticks around even if the file is cropped, compressed, filtered, you name it. So later, anyone can scan it and prove, yep, this came from an AI.
And Microsoft's involved too with Project Origin. Similar idea.
Similar goal, slightly different method. Project Origin adds cryptographic certificates to media. If you alter the file in any significant way, that digital signature breaks, again, flagging it as tampered with after it was certified.
Okay, so we've got these technical tools emerging, C2PA, Synthia, Project Origin. But tech alone isn't enough, is it? We need rules, enforcement.
Absolutely. Without regulations mandating transparency, these tools only go so far. You need rules of the road.
And governments are definitely scrambling to make those rules. The big one is the EU AI Act. That's going to require all AI-generated or heavily manipulated media to be clearly labeled as synthetic. And that labeling requirement kicks in August 2nd, 2025. That's pretty soon.
It is, and we're seeing strict rules elsewhere, too. China, for instance, already requires a visible label on all AI-generated stuff online, saying where it came from.
Over in the U.S., the focus seems more targeted, protecting elections, protecting individual identity. There's the proposed No Fakes Act. That basically tries to stop people from making unauthorized AI copies of performers, their voice, their likeness.
Similarly, at politics, there's the Protect Elections from Deceptive AI Act that would specifically ban using seriously misleading AI fakes related to federal candidates.
It's interesting, though, seeing the different approaches. The EU goes for this broad, sweeping regulation. The U.S. seems to be taking these sector-specific shots. And meanwhile, states like California and New York are often moving even faster.
Exactly right. California's already got rules about disclaimers on AI political ads. New York has this digital replica law. You need consent. You need to pay someone to use their AI likeness. But this patchwork of laws, global, national, state, makes enforcement really tricky, doesn't it? A deep fake made in one place can instantly cause chaos somewhere else entirely.
So these legal and technical frameworks, they're vital steps. But they all kind of circle back to that fundamental cultural shift we talked about earlier.
They do. Ultimately, the big challenge for all of us, for society, is learning to live in this new reality mediated by AI, where you just can't automatically trust what you see and hear.
Which means things like critical thinking, actually checking sources, cross-referencing what you see. That's not just good media literacy anymore. It's becoming like a basic survival skill for navigating this information landscape where your senses can be actively fooled.
And we've talked a lot about the dangers right now, but think about the long-term implications. This crisis of trust could reach deep into our understanding of the past.
Chew on this for a second. If AI tools that anyone can get soon will be good enough to fake events from yesterday convincingly, how are historians in 20, 50, 100 years going to verify archival footage? How will they know what's real? If anything can be fabricated to fit a story, our ability to piece together an objective historical record, It could be fundamentally broken. That, to me, feels like the ultimate crisis of knowing.
That's a really powerful thought to end on.
Well, thank you for sharing all those sources and joining us for this deep dive into the tricky age of synthetic media. And for you listening, if you want more cutting-edge AI content and tutorials like this, please make sure you subscribe to the Before AGI podcast, wherever you get your podcasts.
And definitely don't forget to check out the YouTube channel, Ochieng AI. Lots of great tutorials and insights there into this whole fast-moving field.
Until next time, keep digging into the details.